What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy JB right here, host of the Behind the Bench podcast network and channel. I want to give a shout out to the rest of the crew: Shy, Kelvin, Jermaine, KB Film Room, Big Dog Talk Sports. For everyone who's tuning in, I hope that you support Behind the Bench, become a subscriber, and help make and continue making this show the best that it can be. Because without your support, this channel cannot go and cannot excel. And we definitely appreciate you as always. Now, normally, my intro, I'm always energetic, always hyped, but on this occasion, man, it's a bittersweet moment because, like I said, I'm a fan of the Los Angeles Lakers, lifelong fan, man. And when you see talent, when like, let me put it this way: when you are supporting a team that's starting all over, right, and you watch as much of their season, you know, before all this started, before they were all casted out, and when you had the opportunity to watch them play game after game after game after game after game throughout the course of the regular season during the 2017-2018 campaign, and you sit there, man, and you're left with an impression of like, wow, we got all the talent in the world. And for the basketball fans who may have just started watching the NBA recently, I'm telling the truth when I say that during that time, what was being said about the Los Angeles Lakers' original young core was you would read things and hear things. You would hear people say that we had the deepest young core in the league. We had the most versatile young core in the league or whatnot. Uh, and what I saw tonight, uh, check out that caption right there. This is the performance of Josh Hart. And this was like, uh, this is not even the final result. This was during the second half of the game. Actually, this was in the fourth quarter. And they flashed the caption of Josh Hart. And it gave me chills, man, because I remember when he was drafted out of the University of Villanova, coming off a national championship with his current teammate in New York for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson and Dante DiVincenzo. And that was a great game tonight between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers, where the Knicks came from behind in the fourth quarter to seal their deal and win that game and go up 1-0 in the best of seven Eastern Conference second round series. Fabulous game, and kudos because I'm loving this playoff because the young talent is starting to take center stage, and it's happening at the same time. It's not like just one or two teams. It's like a whole bevy of them. We're talking about like, between 8 and 10, and I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it, but it's bittersweet at the same time because when you see a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves, who, hey, they unleashing it. They're unleashing as Marv Albert would say, the entire repertoire, and they're giving it to the defending champion Denver Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to repeat, and it's going to be hard to repeat in this decade. It's too much. It's too many good young teams on the rise, and I just got to say, Josh Hart. You see that caption? Josh Hart is averaging the second most rebounds per game during the postseason of any player in the history of the NBA who is 6 feet 4 inches tall or shorter. The only player who at that height or shorter who's averaging more rebounds per game was a player who competed in this league over 60 years ago. and Paul Arizin, Hall of Famer Paul Arizin. I believe he was teammates of Will Chamberlain back in the '60s for the Philadelphia Warriors, if I'm not mistaken. If someone, if I'm wrong, if someone catches that, correct me and let me know. But we're talking 62 years ago, and I was so excited to see it, but I was bittersweet at the same time because when Josh Hart was drafted, the scouting report on him was elite rebounder, winner, intangibles. And essentially, he was drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers late in the first round of the 2017 draft. So essentially, what we gave up is the best rebounder in the NBA. Not just pound for pound. Now, technically, it is pound for pound because you have, big men who average more rebounds. But when you just talk about in terms of the fundamental skill set, what it takes to be an elite rebounder, at his height, he beats them all. And to see him do what he did tonight, and he wound up scoring, I believe, 24 points, along with 13 rebounds and 8 assists. This is a player who we drafted to be a reserve back in 2017. 7 years later, he's helping the New York Knicks win playoff games. I'm talking about big-time playoff basketball, intense playoff basketball, physical playoff basketball. He is the best rebounder in the NBA, and we drafted him and let him go. Just 2 years in of his career, and he was traded to New Orleans along with Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball. Brandon Ingram, percentage-wise, is the best mid-range scorer and shooter in the NBA for any player who is aged 30 years or younger. And then we have a center playing for the Los Angeles Clippers by the name of Ivica Zubac. Percentage-wise, he's the best. He's been the best rim protector in the NBA this season. But the so-called experts would try to convince the fans supporting this team that we had no talent. But in all actuality, they are meeting their projection. They're validating the scouting report that was given about them when they was drafted, and they're actually exceeding it. Just think about that for a moment. To do something that's where only one player has done better than you in 60 years of postseason play. Not 10 years, not 20, not 30, 60. And to be exact, 62. And I'm telling you, man, it's the biggest trade-off in the history of pro ball. When you look at what we gave up from we'll just say 1 to 10. Do they realize that when you look at the people that was performing in that second unit for the Lakers before they went win now mode in 2018, they drafted a player and Jordan Clarkson, who was projected to be one of the top 6 men in basketball. Well, 3 years after he was traded away, he won 6th Man of the Year in 2021 for the Utah Jazz, helping them clinch the number 1 seed in the West that year down the stretch after Donovan Mitchell, who at the time was the star player for Utah, suffered a severe ankle sprain and missed like the last month and a half of the season. He's the only original Laker, Jordan Clarkson, to win that award. Kyle Kuzma. I keep hating to allude to it, but Kyle Kuzma, after he was traded to the Wizards, well, actually, his rookie year, he showed a knack for hitting a big shot. Top 5 in Laker history in total points scored in the season by a rookie, and he was top 5 rookie of the year candidate. He's traded to Washington to the Wizards. In his first 2 years, he hit 10-game winning shots. He was such a threat down the stretch, and the coaching staff and the star player Bradley Beal of the franchise was so confident in him hitting the big shot that they deferred to him and called plays for him at the end of those games. It's stunning. A six-man with a superstar mentality. Not a superstar with a six-man mentality, but a six-man with a superstar mentality. Do Laker fans realize that they could have built and unleashed the greatest second unit ever in NBA history? I'm talking about ever. I ain't talking about in the present or in the current. I'm talking about ever. Kuzma, Hart, Clarkson. Then we drafted Zubac at center, Zubac as center, and Thomas Bryant. You probably would have started Zubac and then brought Thomas Bryant off the bench as a stretch five. He entered the league shooting 40% from three in college at Indiana University. Larry Nance, the jack of all trades, as he said he wanted to be. He can switch out on defense. You can play small ball through him. He gave you the energy, the alley-oop dunks, keeping the ball in play, blocking shots. You know what I'm saying? Getting the crowd amped up. They could have generated the best second unit the league has ever seen. And I'm not just saying it just to be talking. Look at what Kyle Kuzma is doing, averaging 22 points a game. Josh Hart is starting for the New York Knicks at the 4 because Julius Randle is out due to injury. He had season-ending surgery on a I think it was a separated shoulder, if I'm not mistaken. The talent that the Los Angeles Lakers we gave up is monumental, and it's not going to be said now because the team is operating on the win now. So it's not going to say it's not going to be mentioned now. But down the road, when years go by, in due time, that reality will be made known to the basketball world. And 13, think about this. He's 6'4", and he out-rebounded everybody on the court. He out-rebounded Joel Embiid in this series in the first round. But they're going to say we didn't have no talent. See, I gravitate to the real players. And when you, like I said, I'm going to just try to keep this as short as possible. When you see what these organizations are doing with, after spending the past 4 years building up their young talent, and you see where they at now, as far as their standing in the league. Minnesota, OKC, Denver they still the defending champion. They're a prime team. Dallas is relatively young outside of Kyrie Irving, who's like 31 years old. But Kyrie Irving is he can still get you. When he get hot, when he get the rolling. You know what I'm saying? Dallas has improved. Sacramento has improved, after being down for like 17, 18 years. San Antonio, they're going to improve. The Pelicans going to improve. Oh, yeah, what I was going to say about the Pelicans, just real quick. I think they're waiting for the win now teams of the West to, kind of succumb to its own frailty, and then they're going to start making their big moves. I'm telling you, man, there's young talent. And they're balling, man. I have to give them credit, and they're coming out here competing, man. They not lollygagging, man. They mean serious business, man. And the best rebounder in the world, who the Lakers drafted in 2017, is now playing for the New York Knicks and helping them win playoff games. This team can mess around and go to the conference finals if they were healthy. If Julius Randle was healthy, this team realistically could go to the finals. The way Jalen Brunson's playing for the team, and OJ Anunoby, Dante DiVincenzo, but we drafted the best rebounder in the NBA. And the stats prove it. I'm not just saying it just to be talking. I'm not exaggerating. It's real. I'm gonna close it one more time by just reading this. I'm gonna shut it down. He's averaging 12.3 rebounds during the playoffs this year. Second most among players 6'4" or shorter in NBA playoff history, only behind Paul Arizin. That's what he's doing. That's who we drafted. He's out rebounding guys who's 8 or 9 inches taller than him. but we didn't have no talent. I'm telling you, if you took all that, combined them together right now, you know, at this stage of their career, and you would have had the right star a free agent all this time. I'm telling you, man, the Lakers would be head above. They'd be head above. I'm telling you, and I know it too. I'm not just saying it just to be talking. I can see it in my mind. But like I said, normally I'm, real enthusiastic, man. But after seeing this, like I said, it's bittersweet because he's supposed to be doing that in the purple and gold. He's only in his 7th year. So it's not like he's been in the league like 13, 14 years. But he's supposed to be doing that in the purple and gold. But, because of one guy's, desire to play with established superstars, that young core of the Lakers were made expendable, man. And I just think it's a real unfortunate, sad tale, man. Because all these other teams, they stayed the course and they're benefiting from it. So I know if they can do it, I know we could have did it. There's no doubt. But nonetheless, man, that's why I love rooting for them, man. Because I know what they can do. It's not surprising. It's not surprising when they do it. At all. So, man, oh man. We drafted the best rebounder in the NBA. That's essentially what we did. Now, if someone want to add the pound for pound to that, well, that just really emphasizes how good he is at rebounding. And he's scoring the points too. Because he had 24 points tonight versus Indiana and dished out 8 assists. And playing good defense. As well as both teams, Indiana and New York, both play good defense tonight, good tough defense. But man, I could just think where we'd be at right now, man, if we just stayed the course, man. But what's unfortunate about it, we'll never get to see it materialize. It's like a lost era. The lost era of the Laker franchise. The lost era. Because what's going on now, this ain't no era. Because they operating darn near game to game. This ain't no era that's going on. This is like, a win out scenario for the ages, but they're not winning. But kudos to Josh Hart. I know what he's capable of doing. He's in a situation where the team and the coaching staff are allowing him to play his game. He ain't got to worry about, reading the papers or, getting word from someone that he about to get traded. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember when he got traded, I know they said he, posted an emoji, of emoji of a sad face, man. Well, I ain't gonna get off of that, man. But like I said, this man has made history. He's making history, man. Ingram made history with his improvement of his free throw shooting percentage. I can just go on and on, man. But the Lakers, they'll never see a they will never see a proliferation of talent drafted over a short period of time. We'll never see that. They're not gonna see that no more. Excuse me. And if they did, it's gonna be no way soon. It'll be like another 20, 30 years from now. They won't see that no more. They won't see that no more. Who lets go of a player 2 years into their career and he's become the best rebounder in the world? That means that's a miscalculation for the ages. He made history. He's making history on the fly throughout the course of these playoffs, man. But that's the super team era for you, where you devalue young players, especially young players who you drafted. And that's why I'm so against that era, this era of super team, man. Like I said, it's not about talent. It's about mentality. But that's why I love these young players, man, that's elevating their teams, and they breaking through now, and they competing. And it's throwing off a lot of these veteran star players. It's throwing them off. They ain't faced that in a long time. And now, because of the fact that they've run into real comp and real superstar mentality, all them win now teams went home early in the first round. And a original Los Angeles Laker advanced to the second round, largely due to the play of his star player, Jalen Brunson, but a lot of it is due to the gritty and clutch rebounding of one Josh Hart. An original Los Angeles Laker has advanced to the second round, and there's a good chance they can advance to the conference finals. And boy, will I be elated if that happens, man. And in my mind, I'm going to picture him wearing that. Disrespect fans of New York Knicks. If a New York Knicks fan come across this, I respect what the Knicks are doing, But in my mind, I always picture him in that purple and gold, man, as well as all of them young men who were exemplary in the way they represent this franchise. And when you got young men doing that for you, and they playing hard for you, giving you 150% for you, creating no drama, and doing the franchise proud, you can't get rid of that. You can't get rid of that. But I'm going to shut this down. Until next time, this is JB for BTB Behind the Bench.